Tell us your name and tell us about your project. My name is Edwin Hubble, PhD from University of Chicago. I'm an astronomer, and my project was an ever-expanding study of galactic observations. What were you guys trying to do or find? Well, for the longest time, we were convinced that galaxies were stagnant, and we didn't know quite the complexity of our universe. We were originally just studying the Andromeda and Nebula, but once we figured out just how far away from Earth they were, or even the Milky Way for that matter, we veered our studies towards finding just how expansive the universe was, by trying to determine how far galaxies and universes were from the Earth and from each other. Where did the experiment or project occur? For this study, I needed the most advanced technology. I didn't need just an observatory. I needed the best observatory. I went to the most astronomically advanced observatory in the world, which was Mount Wilson Observatory, just next door to Los Angeles, California. Home of the 100-inch Hooker telescope, the largest in the world. Perfect for my studies. What other significant events were happening around the world at that time? Well, there was quite a lot going on during my study. Things like the Great Depression or World War I, for which I had to stop my studies to serve time. But on the brighter side of things, the great Babe Ruth set the record of 60 home runs in a single season in the MLB. Women received the right to vote, and the first ever radio broadcast was held. Who else was involved in the project? As you know, a project is never completely done by a single person. With the help of people's separate studies such as Vesto Slipher, who discovered that most spectral lines exhibit Doppler redshifts, which, in short, means they move away from us at an incredible speed. Or with the direct help such as my partner Milton Humason. He and I used Slipher's findings and expanded on them by calculating the actual velocities of galaxies with Doppler redshift findings using spectrographs. He was quite an impressive partner, being a high school dropout and all. What was your role in the project? I would like to say I was the captain of the study. With no disrespect to Milton, of course. I was in charge of conducting the original studies of nebulae from before, and also I studied if galaxies were moving away from the Earth and how fast they were moving. What impact did your project have on the physics community? This study had quite an impact on the physics community, but the most iconic impact was on a colleague of mine, Albert Einstein. At the time, he was wrestling with the concept of general relativity around 1917. He continued to change his equations repeatedly until I completed my research, and my research allowed him to finally nail down his equations. What was your greatest discovery? In 1929, I determined that the farther a galaxy is from Earth, the faster it appears to move away. This notion of an expanding universe formed the basis of the Big Bang Theory, which states that the universe began with an intense burst of energy at a single moment in time and has been expanding ever since.